going to start with right away. And I hope you will take copious notes. Because if there's one thing I've learned, you think you're going to remember what I say, you're not. So please, whatever you do, continue to take notes, ask questions. I am here for you. I have been in this, as Stephanie shared with you, I have done this for many years and had many, many roles. And there are a lot of times when I don't feel like I know something. It doesn't matter. Here's the line. It is not how much you know, it is how much you care. No one will ever know it all. No one. Doesn't matter if you've been in the Federation world for years and years. No one knows it all. It doesn't matter because it's really all about how much you care. So today we have goals, and if you look at your paper, on the blue paper, it shares what our goals are together. The first goal is to prove that every solicitation, and I don't call it a solicitation, I call it a
relationship.
A what?
Relationship building?
It's a Jewish conversation. So every Jewish conversation is fun, successful, and worthwhile. If you look at the top, you are going to be successful every single time you solicit. And I'm going to show you how. Every time you will be successful. And I'm going to prove to you through our evening tonight. Raise your hand if you like talk. If you like to share stories. Lorraine, raise your hand. If you share a story. She loves stories. If you love to make new friends, I love to make new friends. I met each one of you tonight. Particularly with people that have similar values and similar priorities. They might send their children to bicultural. They might be here at JCC. They might serve on the JFS board with you. Those are the people you will get to have these Jewish conversations with. I'm going to provide tonight, another one of our goals is to provide a sound, well-tested process in having a successful Jewish conversation. I did not invent this process, but I will tell you it works. It is unbelievable. And I will go through the stages with you. Who wants to give more to this community than your annual pledge? Who wants to give more of their time, of their talent? Where are your hands? Jill, do you want to give more?
Yes.
Absolutely. Linda. Right. Who wants to give your time? Who gives their life to this work? That is priceless. You can't put a price tag to the time, even the time you're giving tonight. The next goal is to instill confidence and comfort. You walked in here. Raise your hand if you are confident and comfortable about soliciting, honestly. Okay, I want to see how many hands will be raised when we walk out this door. Okay? Who wants to learn more about themselves? Who wants to learn about their own interests, their own passions, their own priorities? Can I tell you, in my work, you think you're giving? You are getting so much more. I have learned, I never knew I was a good speaker. Kid you not. I never knew I was a good solicitor until I did it. I have learned so much about myself through giving my time and my effort in soliciting. And who here wishes they had a greater vibrance, a greater impact on the vibrancy here of this Jewish community? Seth? Of course. You will leave tonight, if my goals come through, you will leave tonight feeling excited, feeling proud, and feeling good about the opportunity to solicit, the opportunity to help for your people, for your community, for our children's future. Okay? Are those good goals?
Yes.
Are there any goals you would like to add that I don't have here? Any other goal you hope to accomplish tonight, other than the ones I've shared, these 4 goals? Yes, don't tell me, Shoshana.
I know that the word of mouth after tonight is going to be such that the people who couldn't make it are going to be sad they were here.
So, thank you, Shoshana, and I hope that's the truth. But guess what? I'm going to ask each and every one of you, particularly Seth and Amanda, to take copious notes and share what you learned tonight to young leadership. I'm going to ask Stephanie from campaign to take copious notes and share with her campaign cabinet. I'm going to ask Jill from women's. Who else is from women's? And Ellen from women's, and Robin to take copious notes and share with those who were not able to come tonight. You are the ambassadors, and when you leave this room, you are going to share what you learned tonight and change the entire feeling of soliciting here in this community. Soliciting. What if I told you solicitations, if done properly, are fun, enlightening, meaningful, and memorable forever? You will have relationships that you build just merely from having a solicitation. So, if not how much you know, who can finish it for me?
That's how much you can.
Deidre, say it louder. It's how much you care. It's not the facts and the figures. It's the real people that you touch and who touch you. It's these people that I shared with you. Is there anyone that you read about that you would like to share with everybody that really touched you? Any one of these stories that you would like to share? David?
Sure. Just pick this one up. This is a righteous Gentile who was reunited in Israel with, I guess, part of the family. And, he did what he did because it was his neighbor, it was a human thing to do to help someone in need. And so that he was brought to Israel and recognized for what he did. It was beyond power.
Who has heard of JDC, the Joint? Okay, the Joint is one of our partner agencies that live in 70 different countries that have Jews. We provide them the funds. Now this guy that David's talking about is named Ivan. He is not Jewish, yet the JDC paid for him to fly and go to Israel to meet the mother and the 2 daughters that he saved from being killed. And whatever we give Holocaust survivors, as far as stipends, we give to righteous Gentiles as well. So here are facts that just warm my heart that I didn't know until I met Ivan. I saw, Ellen, you picked up one that's very touching to
Yes,
me.
it is. About a boy named Alex from the Jewish summer camp in Odessa. And when Lynn saw him, he was sad, with a smile, and she connected with him. And when he left, and when she left, he had a smile. And that touched you.
And I'll never forget it, because I'm a very gregarious person. So when this was a long time ago, they gave me a little sticker. It was a butterfly. And we went to a camp that it was, in Israel where there had been trauma. So what we do is we contribute to the children who live with Scud missiles and rockets coming can get away for a week, and we pay for it, so they can get a little respite from this experience. And so we went there, and you had to find the other person that had a butterfly. So of course I run to all the people that are dancing and jumping because I want to be with them. When all of a sudden I see Alex, and if you show the picture, Ellen, it shows how everybody else is smiling and dancing on each other's back, and Alex is sitting there very stoic. And he happened to have the butterfly. And at first I was very disappointed, I have to tell you, because the other kids were playing. You can't communicate, because I can't speak Hebrew, and he can't speak English, but we couldn't communicate. So all the other kids were playing and having fun with all the other lay leaders, and Alex couldn't. And at the end, he was sitting amongst all his friends, and I waved goodbye. It still makes me cry today. And Alex waved and gave me a smile. That smile and wave meant so much to me because I made Alex feel special, liked, and happy. I hope he remembers our time together half as much as I will forever remember him. I learned from Alex that it's not just the happy-go-lucky people that you want to be with. It's the people where you're really unhappy, the people where you have to work at it to have a relationship. They're worth it as well. So it's the connections. And Shoshana and I were talking after she read these and saw that most of the people are from out of the country. Israel, Budapest, St. Petersburg, Minsk. I could name, these are where all my friends are. But it doesn't matter. It's connecting with one person. That's what makes me do what I do. Because now I feel like the money I'm raising is helping the Alexes and the Ivans and the other people you have read it. So it's not all about the money. It is not all about the increase. It is not all about campaigning. You have the opportunity to share a story, to educate them about something you're doing. Many of you serve on agency boards. Share something that JFS is doing. Share something about when you walk in this unbelievable JCC and you see these little kids. I saw this little child walking in today, threw off his coat and kept running. It made me feel great that he's that excited to be part of the Jewish Community Center. Okay? These are the stories that you can share. It's educating, motivating, communicating about the work of Federation, what we are a part of, people we know and people we will never know, but we help them because they're Jewish and we're Jewish. And that's part of what we do. It's opportunity for each one of you to show and demonstrate your commitment. Some of you give it in dollars, other of you pick up the phone. But that's still a commitment to this community. And you're also sharing in the responsibility. You know, I go to these communities. In fact, I was just in Western Massachusetts, where PJ Library, and I said to Harold Grinspoon, who started PJ Library, I said, Harold, if you don't do what's necessary for this Western Massachusetts, I've been to over 80 communities all over the country. JCCs are closing because they don't have enough money. Day schools are shutting their doors because they can't sustain themselves. Synagogues, this is happening all over the country. We have to continue to do what we do to sustain the beautiful support that we give, that has been given to us. You know, many of you moved to this community. Stephanie, when you moved here, they gave you a day school. They gave you a Jewish Family Service safety net. You need to do that for the next generation, to keep Stamford whole, like what you have had. So a good solicitation has 3 components. You ready? Factual material. You don't need to know it all. Just share some facts about this federation they otherwise wouldn't know if you didn't share it with them. Something that you're impressed about. Share a personal experience or story. And a call to action. That's the 3 parts. 1, factual material. 2, a personal experience or story. 3, a call to action. The call to action is asking for the gift. Every one of you can be successful. Every one of you can be successful because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. People give to people. That's the bottom line. When you connect, people give. So here's our first job. The first role is, oh, you're welcome, that's nice. Preparation. To be prepared, you have to personally be prepared. You have to know yourself, what makes you tick, what has helped you, what you're impressed with, what has made a difference on your living in this federation. So you need to figure out why you give your time and why you care about this federation. And one of the ways you can do this is on the yellow page, I give you quotes. I'm a firm believer in quotes. I believe they inspire and they can add passion. I want you to spend a couple minutes right now reading this packet, this gift that I've given you, of quotes that I've accumulated, and tell me a quote that resonates with you. Raise your hand or I will call on you, but I know every single one of your names. Gary, which one of those quotes resonates with you?
The one from Winston Churchill.
Read it out loud.
Living by what we get, but we can't live by what we give.
What do you mean? Why does that resonate with you?
But I think that you earn a living, you feed your family, you think that's to yourself basically. But when you help somebody else, you help the world.
Beautiful, thank you. Another quote, please, Dana.
The one from Maya Angelou.
Mhm.
And learn that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you did them.
Go on. So true.
I really like that because I think it's very important to connect with people and know to become impactful, make that connection.
Absolutely. And that's what happens with stories. Might even forget you, but won't forget your story. That's when you connect. Amanda.
We're all meant to shine as children do.
I'm sorry, say it a little louder.
We are all meant to shine as children do. It is not just in some of us and everyone. And when we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others.
Absolutely.
You want to add? I think a lot of what we do when we go out and push people and educate people about what we're doing is letting people know it's okay to help take care of other people. It's okay to give to youth organizations. It's okay to be part of us.
Absolutely.
And as we show we're not afraid and are confident, and we're comfortable, let other people around us be comfortable in the conversation.
Excellent. Excellent. Ricky.
Rabbi Canaan not to take oneself too seriously, but to take one's responsibility very seriously.
Excellent.
I think I should do all of ourselves too seriously, and had to realize soon, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ricky.
It's Lombardi. We'll work together, we'll win, whether it be against conflicts, reform, offenses, or the problems of modern society. And to me, that's in a way the essence of the concept of federated communities. And that's what I try to tell people why they need to support federation.
Absolutely.
As opposed to individual.
Collect responsibility. Lorraine.
Those who watch things happen, those who say what happened, and those who make things happen. And I think that all a combination of all three, and it's a matter of knowing which one to do then.
Excellent. Excellent point. You're right. Share your point. Anybody else? Yes, please, Audrey.
The picture of that time, there are two kinds of people, those who watch things happen, those who say what happened, and those who make things happen.
Absolutely.
Negative come into the world and negative leave. They put walls out of trust and take them without nothing except within the reading on. It makes me just think about Judaism and being active, like sitting here towing water, or taking the chance to do one extra thing to make a better life.
Absolutely. One act of loving kindness at a time. When someone says to me, Linda, how do you do what you do? How can you possibly do all that you do? I don't think of it as all that I do. Right now, I'm here in Stamford. I am not worrying about anything else. Some of you, I confided in you. My son just told me that he's planning on moving to Algerville. My other son just told me something. Okay, we all have issues. We all have. But right now, I am tunnel visioned helping here in this community, and I will give it my all. Then when I get home, I will give my sons my all. And I think that that's the secret of what we do. One little thing at a time rather than looking and being overwhelmed. So as you read these quotes, and this is my gift to you, I've accumulated these through years, I hope they'll help motivate you to pick up that phone, to make that ask, to think about the importance of what you're doing. I want you to know that on the front of your page, on the blue front, I gave you goals of today, but I also want to talk about the goals of a solicitation. This is why every solicitation will be successful. Look at the goal of a solicitation. The first goal, please. Leo. Is that close?
Spot on.
Thank you.
Prove that every solicitation.
No, the goals of a solicitation. You got it, right?
Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
Have prospects feel good at conversation.
Okay. Your goal is when you have that Jewish conversation, the prospect, who's the person who you're talking to, feels good about it. You might be the only person they talk to on behalf of Federation for the entire year. You make sure that they feel good about that conversation. The next one, please, Linda.
That the prospect feels good
About the Federation. No problem. The prospect feels good about the Federation. Whatever you've told them, they feel good about it. You taught them, you planted a seed. You taught them one thing they didn't know about Federation. They feel good now about Federation. And the last goal, the final goal, please, Seth.
The prospect feels good about their gift.
Whatever they give, they feel good about the gift. Why is that important, Nancy? Why is it important that they feel good about the gift they give?
I would think just because they want to make sure, or you want to make sure that they're comfortable with it, that they'll do it again.
There you go, girlfriend. It's an annual pledge. You're coming back next year. Number one. Number two, it's a gift. Whatever they give, it's a gift. Okay? So I'm going to tell you a story about my solicitation, and I'm going to ask you to vote. Stephen and I moved into a new home. We built it, and a person who moved into our community from Canada was building a house also. I knew that his family had a home in Israel, and they were very, very comfortable, and his father gave a beautiful gift in Montreal. He was giving $1,000 in Baltimore. I was the campaign chair. I called him up. Alan, it's Linda Hurwitz. I am the campaign chair for this Baltimore community, and I want to treat you to a cup of coffee at my home. I'd like to give you a tour so you can see my new home, and then we're going to sit down together and talk about how wonderful this community is through the Associated. That's what we call our federation. Linda, I'd love it. Comes over for Dunkin' Donuts only. That's all I know. He said, what are you taking your coffee? It'll be ready Friday at 8 o'clock. I'll see you at my house. Comes over, takes a tour of our house, has a great time. We sit down at the kitchen table to drink our coffee. We start our Jewish conversation. Our children both go to the day school. We both go to the same synagogue. He then informs me that he met his wife at this synagogue, that his children go to this day school. We start talking back and forth about this community. I was raised in Baltimore. I went to Hebrew school in this community. I could not have the education. On and on and on we went back and forth. We could have finished each other's sentences. He said this community has enveloped him in love, nurtured him and his wife and his children, and he couldn't say enough of good things about the Associated and this community. That's when I said, and Alan, that's why I'm asking if you would consider an increase of $9,000, which is less than $1,000 a month. He said, Linda, I absolutely love this community. I know I would not be able to give my 3 daughters what I would have if it wasn't for this infrastructure. I love being part of this community, and that's why I am thrilled to give to the 2009 campaign my $1,000. Now, let's vote. You vote and tell me if this was a successful solicitation or not a successful solicitation. Let me just give you a hint. Look at the goals of a successful solicitation. All those who think that Alan and I had a successful solicitation, a successful Jewish conversation, raise your hand. All those of you, this is a great community. Very rare, very rare. All those of you who think that Alan and I had an unsuccessful solicitation, raise your hand. Okay. Okay, Stephanie, there's always one. And then good, it's good that it's your campaign chair. I'm sorry. Thank you. Tell me, you're right. Tell me why it was a successful solicitation.
You met all the goals. You had the.
Allison, explain.
You met all the goals. You felt good about conversation. You felt good about the community. You felt good about the gift. Those are your goals.
Fast forward the next year. I'm no longer the campaign chair. Your campaign chair 1 year in Baltimore. Our children go to the same day school. I'm in my big van. I'm driving out, and all of a sudden I see Alan in the middle of the parking lot like this. So I stop. Hit my window. What do you say? You don't roll it down anymore. No. What do? Press a button, and the window goes down. And I said, Alan, are you okay? He said, no, give a minute for me. I said, of course. Happened. In my van. I said, what's up? He says, I have not stopped thinking about the conversation you and I had at your kitchen table. It would be an honor for me to give $10,000 to the annual campaign. Thank you. You don't know how successful it will be, but you do know if you follow these 3 rules, these 3 goals, everyone will be successful. Everyone, as long as they feel good about the conversation, good about the federation, and good about their gift, that's a successful solicitation. So, let's get started. Linda, please.
One, what happens if they don't let you get to the first, have that conversation?
That is why you have a face-to-face, which is much better than a phone because you've got their undivided attention. He's got to drink his whole coffee, doesn't he?
Right, but I mean, if you are going to do it on the phone.
We'll get to that, promise.
And the other one is you use the word gift.
Yes.
And I like to use the word investment. For some donors, they're not interested in gifts anymore, they're interested in investment.
I love that. I love it. That's a beautiful, I love that, and I will steal that. Thank you very much, Linda. So, you need to, she says instead, we'll talk real loud because this room's big. Instead of using the word gift, use the word investment with the right person. But what Linda said, which was most important, is with the right person. What you would say to Linda would be different than maybe what you would say to Edith. Because Edith doesn't want to invest, she wants to give a gift maybe, rather than an investment, which is more with somebody else who might resonate with someone else. So that's beauty of which we get into. In preparation, you have to start with yourself. How have you benefited from this community? Write it down. How have you benefited from this community? Now, what sparked your involvement? Think back. Did someone ask you to come on this board? What was it? What was that defining moment that sparked your involvement in Federation? God, Gary, you are thinking so hard, your wrinkles on your forehead. I see that brain churning there. Amanda, you have it? Think. Write them down then. If you can't answer them now, on the toilet tonight you'll answer them. It's my best time to think. How have you benefited from the community? You better know. Why are you involved? How have you benefited? Because other people have benefited, and when you say how you benefited, it'll spark how they have benefited. What sparked your involvement? By you sharing what sparked your involvement, it will resonate with how they got involved themselves. That's the purpose of a story. It's not so you can tell. Listen, I have to tell you my favorite story has nothing to do with anything. So I have been involved forever. By my 3rd child, I'm no longer working. I'm driving my darn van, which you've heard about, and I'm taking him to preschool with Max. Max is in the back seat with Andrew, and they're 4 years old. And Max said to Andrew, Andrew, my mom is a teacher. She teaches children every day. What does your mommy do? Oh my goodness. What is my son going to say? I drive a van, I go to the groceries. I have no idea what this poor child was going to say because I'm not working. My son turns to Max without missing a beat, 4 years old, and he says, "My mommy saves the world." Max said, "The whole world?" You say, "Yep, the whole world." Now you tell me, when I tell you that story, it's not so you think of Andrew. It's so that you think of your children. Do they know what you do for this community? Do they know how hard you care? Yes, they do. I never told my son what I do. I just did it. And at 4 years old, my son thinks his mommy saves the world. You tell me, does it get better than that? You better believe it. I could give to 100 respondent or whatever that is, and I will never be a payback that my child thinks that highly of me. Okay? That's why you tell stories. It's not so you can brag, or it's not that you can, it's so that they think of their stories. It sparks their interest. So I want you to turn to your neighbor now that you wrote your answers, and tell your neighbor, how have you benefited from this community? Or, what sparked your involvement? Turn to your neighbors. Go. Linda, Cher, go with Jill, Deborah, all three of you together.
I'm really sorry.
So it's funny she said like similar to you. Answer these questions. They can only make you not only a better solicitor, a better person, a better mother or father, a better Jew, and a better community participant, a community member. But in preparation, there are 4 P's. Now you know why you're involved, what sparks you. When you need to know your product is your community needs, your community priorities, your federation programs, agencies, but remember, do you need to know it all? No. Just pick a couple things. They're not going to listen to you that long anyway. Just pick something you feel passionate about. Know the product. Know the prospect. Huge. What I would say to Edith, who's been involved forever, is different than what I would say to Seth, who's in young leadership. What I would say to David, who is a past president of this place, for goodness sake, is totally different than what I would say to Dina. Know the prospect. What's their giving history? What's their interests? Do they have children at the day school? Are they a member of JCC? Are their parents involved here? Are they from Stanford? Know your prospect. There are times when I'll even call this person who solicited them the year before and hear a little bit about them before I pick up that phone. And the last P is to know the process, which I'm about to give you right now. There are 6 stages. The first one is preparation. Okay? All right, you ready? I can't find it right now. Okay. There are 6 stages of the solicitation. Let me just share with you, before we start, my secret sauce. You meet anyone and say you spoke with Linda Hurwitz. They will tell you. Did she tell you her P's? P's. I have 6 P's that I swear by, that I do in everything I do. I really contribute this. I honestly think I am who I am and the success I've had because of these P's. You ready? Number 1, I'm totally prepared. Before I came to this community, I read your website. I spoke or not. What I say here will be totally different than what I will say to another community. You must be prepared. I need to know if your campaign went up, what your problems, what the situations and challenges are. How can I help? And I want to compliment your CEO, Jim, who spent over an hour with me today, sharing concerns, things he wants to make different. He has his heart is in the right place, and he is so willing to do whatever is necessary. And you all are very lucky to have Jim. So I think we should really do that. As I cover this country, it is all about the CEO and how he sets the tone. And you are in good hands here with Jim. So, be prepared. Second P, be personal. It is so important that I use your name. I can tell every single one of your names. What I would say to Audrey is totally different. Oh my, to Danielle. I got nervous for a second. You need to make the person feel good. When I say your name, Audrey, doesn't that make you feel good? Exactly. True. You have to be genuine. But it's nice to think, that person thinks highly of me, that they think so much of me that they'll remember my name. It also is important that what you share is personal. What I would share with Jill, who shared with me that she's a graphic designer, so she's artsy, I would not talk about facts and figures with Jill, okay? So you need to be personal. My first one's prepared, my second one's personal, third, positive. We are a fundraising organization. We are a not-for-profit organization. Anyone you speak to can take their gift or investment to another organization if they don't feel good and they don't feel that they're making a difference in a positive way. If there's anything negative, this is not the time. And if they share something negative with you, that is a really good point. Thank you, Liel. Thank you very much. I will call Jim or Rebecca and get back to you, the professional, because I don't know the answer. But that is a really good question. Let me get back to you about that. Okay? Do not let the conversation spiral into negativity, into the abyss. Keep it positive. And that's why, once I speak with Annette, she'll call you. But right now, let's talk about your gift. Turn it right back to the positive, purposeful. Oh, there's my next one. Purposeful. You have a purpose. Remember, your purpose is threefold. Give information, tell a story, call to action. You have a purpose. The next key is the most important, in my opinion. And if you had to ask me one word that characterizes me, this would be the word. Can you guess it? That's my last one, you smart lady, but that's not this one. Passion. Passion.
Very good.
If you do not have the passion, you are not the right person. Shoshana, you have your hand up? No. Okay. If you are, I'm a national trainer. I'm good at soliciting. A prep school in Baltimore asked me to speak, to train their cabinet, their board members. I said, I'd be horrible. Why would I be horrible? Who knows why I would be horrible? Ellen, why would I be horrible? Who knows?
Because you didn't know.
I have no passion. I don't know their mission, their philosophy. I've never had a child at their school. I have nothing to give. But talk about the Jewish community? Oh my gosh, you can't shut me up. There's my passion. And last one is Audrey. Here it is. What is Audrey? That real loud. Persistent. If you ask them for a gift and they say yes, then you didn't ask for enough. Honestly. If someone gives me what I asked for, I take that person's card the next year because I'm going to ask them for more. Expect someone to negotiate with you. Expect someone to go back and forth with you. That's what happens when you're talking about a big, important Jewish conversation. We'll get into how the stages go. So what are my 6 P's? You can read them. You can shout them out to me. Amanda, did you write them? Who has all 6? Ellen.
Prepared, personal, positive, that you have a purpose, you're passionate, and you're persistent.
There you go. And that's what makes me successful. I just thought of that one. Okay. You ready for the stages? It works. It's proven not only to raise funds, but also raise youth. And that's what we're in business doing as well. These are tricks, these are techniques, and this is the art of a successful solicitation. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Seth, it's Linda. I'm calling on behalf of the Jewish community, I'm not saying it right, how do you say it?
United Jewish Federation.
United Jewish Federations of Stamford. I'm a volunteer, and I wanted to call you because I am so impressed that you give so much time to young leadership. Thank you. Hi, Ellen. It's Linda Hurwitz, and I'm a volunteer for the United Jewish Federation. Wrong?
Yeah, United Jewish Federation.
Yay. United Jewish Federations of Stamford. And I wanted to call you. You were one of the few people I called because I remember when you came down to Baltimore and we connected at the regional meeting.
That was great.
It was great. Hi, Shoshana. It's Linda. I'm a volunteer for the United Jewish Federations of Stamford. And I personally wanted to call and thank you for being such a giver, not only of your time as the president of this incredible community. What am I doing? I'm doing 5 things in one sentence. What am I doing? David.
You're making the person feel good, you're thanking them, you're showing your passion, you're positive, and you're personal.
You are so good. And was I personal?
Yes. Yes.
Totally personal. What I said to Ellen, could I say to anybody else?
No.
No. I was very prepared. All my keys came out at one sentence. What else did I do? There was one word that began with a V. That's very important.
Volunteer.
Volunteer. How many telemarketers call you a night? They're being paid.
Right.
You are one volunteer, one Jewish community member asking another Jewish community member to help a third Jewish community member who can't ask for themselves. That's what you're doing as a volunteer. Am I mentioning what I'm calling on behalf of?
Yes.
You better believe it right from the beginning. Let them know you're proud of what you're doing. Well, there's another thing. Correct? Okay, so I thank, I flatter. Now, the one thing we did not say that's really important. I make it, first of all, before I pick up that phone, I know exactly what I'm going to say. So then I'm not nervous. I'm already prepared. When I spoke to that person, when I spoke to Seth and to Ellen and to Shoshana, did they feel like I really wanted to talk to them?
Yes.
You better believe it. Did it sound like I prepared just for them? Guess what? I did. Let that come through your phone. Let them know that this is so important that you prepared for this conversation. And that's the opening. The purpose, go now please to your pink page. So the opening is smile. The smile comes through the phone. They feel that smile. They know you're smiling. Listen, this is one of the funny stories. Hi Nancy, it's Linda, how are you? She says, hi Linda, we don't know each other. But just from the excitement in my voice makes them excited to respond to me. In your opening, as David said, flatter. Be upbeat, enthusiastic, personal, positive. Perfect. Thank you, David. Any questions about the opening? Okay, then turn to your pick 4 page. Go. Go. Yeah.
That would create a person calling in. Or when it's someone else.
Say this again. What's your question? Is it somebody else that answers?
Yeah.
In the house? No problem. Hi, is Lale there, please? Lale there, please?
No.
Who's calling?
Who's calling? I'm a community member of Stamford. Is Lale there, please?
What's your name?
Linda.
My mom. My mommy's not here. My
Oh, okay, thank you, sweetheart. What are you gonna do? If he's not there, he's not there. But,
You know what happens, that parents like,
That's right.
listen,
You've
it
done
is
that?
hard. It is hard to do that. So my secret, I'm telling you my secret sauce, I try to get cell phones. I try to call at various times of the day. I try very hard. Like if someone says, who are you? I sometimes say, a friend of your mom's. I am. Now, if I don't know those, because I do not lie. I'm not saying that lie. I feel much better always being genuine and telling the truth. But let's say I don't know. I'll say, Linda, you don't know me, and I don't know you, but I'd like to know you. Or, Robin, it's Linda. I'm Linda. I'm a volunteer for the United Jewish Federation of Stamford, and I've heard such remarkable things about William's plan. Okay? Even when you don't know someone, didn't your mother teach you it's nice to be nice, and you can always find something nice to say about anybody? You can. Now, if you look on your Pick 4 page, which is green, look at number 1. A solicitation is really...
A Jewish conversation.
Say it loud, Al.
A Jewish conversation.
Write it. A solicitation is really a Jewish conversation. Write it down. This is your cliff notes. A favorite opening. This is my favorite opening. I gave you mine. You can use it or come up with your own. What is mine, Linda? My favorite opening.
I went by your federation this year because you always seem to find it in your heart to do a little more.
Exactly, I left that off. Good. I use this all the time. Rebecca, I wanted to call you on behalf of the Federation because somehow you find it in your heart to give a little more. Okay? That's my favorite one. I gave you a gazillion ones, Ricky, in a second. I gave you a lot of them. Write down one you liked. Do you like when I said to Robin that other people have said, I don't know you, but other people, I've heard such great things about you through women's philanthropy. Did you like what I said to, pick your favorite opening. As long as it's flattering, it's upbeat, it's positive, and it's personal, it works. Ricky.
What about when you're looking at the history and they've been flat for so many years? How
No
do
problem.
you say you
Ricky, you don't use that one. Then you say, Ricky, you have been a generous supporter for so many years. Thank you. Or you say, Danielle, on behalf of a totally appreciative community, I get to have the opportunity to ask you to do another mitzvah. Stephanie.
I'd love to hear about another successful face-to-face.
We'll get to face-to-face.
Along those lines, how do you decide whether to meet somebody?
Excellent question. So we will get to that, and if I don't, make sure. Let's stay on the phone, but Stephanie, 2 excellent questions. Make sure I answer them. Any questions about opening? Does anyone want to read what they put as their favorite opening? Edith?
I'm calling to thank you for being a supporter of the Federation.
Okay, does that flatter? Is that personal? I would say that would be generic, and you don't want a generic one. A generic one is similar to a telemarketer, and you have to rise above that. So it's good, but you have to personalize it, and you have to make it positive. Remember the keys. Is this a positive, personal, purposeful opening? I'm calling to thank you.
Well, first of all, I'm saying her name, or his name.
I would say the same thing by saying, Audrey, thank you for being you are one of the most supportive. In other words, make it personal. Only if it's true. Audrey, I have been your friend for 50 years, and every year I call you, you are supportive. How do I ever thank you? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. What you could say to Audrey, your opening has to be so what you say to one person, you cannot say to another.
Well, it's hard because we don't know anything about the people we're calling.
You could, that's a good point. Then you have to read your product. You have to read what it says on your sheet. If you don't know the person, then that's when you use one of the others, such as, you know, I'm a volunteer of Young Leadership. And I have to tell you, it's people like you who have been giving year after year that inspire someone like me. Okay? Moving on. Once you've done the opening, which is just establishing a rapport, you move on to the next stage. We're on stage number 3. Go back to your green. Go back to your what color sheet? Green. Not green. Go back to your pink sheet. What's the next stage? Okay, ready for presentation? A presentation. This is when you're presenting. You're establishing the connection. You want to connect with this person. How do you connect? The way you connect is simple. You ask a question with one of the 3 words in the beginning of how, what, or why. How, what, or why. For example, Deborah, how did you get involved nationally? Lorraine, why did you decide to become a lion? Nancy, what is it about this community that really inspires you? Gary, why is it that the CEO of this entire community feels like he can sleep in you because of you?
You heard it there first.
This is a financial wizard.
What am I doing? What am I doing with these questions? I'm connecting Alan. What else am I doing? I'm making them feel good, very positive, but what else?
Asking open-ended questions.
Ellen?
Well, it's person. Did you say person?
Right, so let's go back. Lorraine, why did you become a lion?
To be able to help more people.
That's a beautiful thing. And why do you feel by being a, do you wear your lion? And why do you feel like you should wear your lion?
It's important for me to remember what I do.
What am I doing by asking these questions to him?
Giving it
a conversation.
purpose.
But even more than that, huh,
You're
Allison?
giving it purpose.
She is talking about herself and why she gives. I already gave my gift. I don't want to talk about what I give and why I give. By asking these open-ended questions, Lorraine is talking and giving reasons for why she should give. And so the ask is so much easier because she's already spoken and convinced herself of the need of this community and why she feels good about making her gift. So the open-ended questions are the 3 words. What are they? I don't hear you.
How, what, why.
So we go back to our favorite picks. Mine, my favorite presentation, Linda, is what impresses you about this Jewish community of ours? If I don't know the person. That's what I ask. If I don't know the person.
In that situation, what do you do with the person? You have to negative.
Give me an example. Say it.
Oh, maybe I haven't really been that impressed, so, you know, this.
Have you met our new CEO? Let me tell you something. He is quite impressive. And he has this whole new idea called math. He would love to go out for coffee with you and explain it because he is so passionate about this. Can I have him call you?
I guess at that point, do you then stop the solicitations so you have time to circle back?
You can, or that was one response. If you really want to close that if you think you're the right person, and it's not something that really, you know, Jim should consider as a major part of his portfolio, then ask it to me again. What impresses you, Deborah, about our community? Say whatever you want.
Well, I'm not really impressed, I haven't been impressed with the JCC or the JFS,
I know how you feel, believe me. There are times that I feel that way about the JCC also. Have you been here recently? Do you know, I walked in a couple of days ago, there was a little boy who was so excited that he took off his coat and started running down the hall to his class. That just warmed my heart that we were able to have some place for that mother to have that child have that kind of experience. I think, the JCC has its issues, don't get me wrong. Believe me, I'm aware of them also. And yet, I'm so lucky, I know we all are so lucky, to have a JCC, a beautiful JCC that we can count on in our community. That's why I'm asking you, if you would, and that's my ask. Okay? You need to speak. You don't argue. There's no need to argue. And we will get into objections, which is what I just did. But in a presentation, might turn to an objection. Each conversation is different. Now look at the presentation. Yes, please, Linda.
So what happens like when you were having that conversation with Lorraine, and what happens if it was someone who you don't know that well and feel that you are invading their privacy?
Give me an example.
Well, the same one. I mean, like what?
Oh, the lion?
Yeah, like what?
How would anybody? Okay, so let me
Well,
share.
maybe it's not the lion.
It wouldn't. But
Someone's very
I'm going to tell you something.
Right.
What I've learned, and here's another secret sauce of mine. If you're positive, if you're upbeat, if you're friendly, and very rarely does someone say to me, "What? How dare you invade my privacy?" Or how? It's a conversation where we keep it as an upbeat, enthusiastic kind of conversation. And as long as it's that way, listen. One person one time said to me, one time, but I still remember because I was shaking. They said, "How dare you? You have no right." I don't remember what. And I said, "I am so sorry. Please understand that I am a volunteer. Please know that if I have offended you in any way, I am extremely sorry. I'm just a community member trying to help our community." Okay? And then I wrote her a note, and I apologized. And I said, "Please understand if I said anything that offended you, I am so sorry. It's just I care so much about this community." It's the worst thing. The worst thing is they can hang up in your ear, and guess what? That's happened to me too. Sometimes I call them back. I say, "We got disconnected." If you're friendly and nice, the worst thing they can do is hang up on you. That's the worst. Who cares? That's their loss.
Well, only if they make a loss.
If they hang up on you before you, if it's a contribution and they hang up on you, I would just call them another time. Very often, and they have to say, "Do not call me, put it in the mail, I will give." Then you know. Okay? Remember, you are educating, communicating, and motivating. That's your role. You're educating, communicating, and motivating. Okay. So when you look at our paper on the green, that is my favorite how, what, and why question. Write another one you like. Write, please. Anything that begins with how, what, or why is acceptable. Why? When you ask a how, what, and why question, what is it? Can you say yes or no to that?
No.
It's called an open-ended question, so it creates conversation. Any question that creates conversation is perfect. You thinking so?
Thinking.
You were on the hot seat.
I know. Thinking I sat in the wrong seat.
Should have been one seat over either way, you'd have been fine.
Who wants to share their question? Please, David.
I'm curious, you've been in Federation now 20 years. What about that 20 years you've given every year?
I love it. Love it. The way I say it, why do you give year after year? Why? Exactly. I love that question. Thank you, David. Someone else? Amanda?
Okay, I'm assuming this is a person who gives, how is the agency, the Federation supports helping you in your life?
Excellent. Excellent. Love it. Anybody else? Deshaun, you want to ask? Guess what yours?
What makes you love being a part of our community?
I love it. Love it. Another good one is, what is it that makes you give your time? You know, you could ask Gary that. You could ask Deborah that. What is it that makes you give your time? I could ask that to every single one of you in this room. You did not come for the dinner, although it was delicious. You're giving your time just by being here tonight. Okay? So now, I want you to turn to someone you know, because we're not going to get
Is it reasonable to try to motivate them by trying to making them, in other words, asking them, what can you do to make this Jewish community more vibrant?
I love it.
Is that always that shifting the burden to them?
Okay. Remember, the purpose of the answer is to help them understand why they give. That's the purpose of this open-ended question. So by asking that question, will that help them understand why they need to give? That question is a great question when there's other conversation, when you're sitting around a boardroom, but when you're asking for their annual investment, which Linda taught me, I think it's really important that the answers to their questions, the response to your open-ended question, leads them closer to the ask, which I'm going to go into right now as soon as you turn to one of your partners who you know well. Go through the opening and the presentation using your little green sheet. Go.